Today it feels like my birthday, but it is really not my birthday. I just got this package sent in because I bought myself a Sega Game Gear. Yeah, I want to have one complete unbox, and this guy basically like packed it up very nicely. Pretty damn cool to see. And he did a lot of effort basically doing this because the box needs to be in good condition, of course. It would be a shame if it's going to be damaged in transport. So again, it feels like my birthday now. So let's take a closer inside and how good is the quality of the system itself. So when it comes to the Sega Game Gear, I have so many good memories of this thing. Because back in the day, I was playing a lot with my Game Boy Classic. And later on it was the Game Boy Color. And I had so many, let's say, many hours of fun as a child. I can still remember when I go to out of nothing, I think it was like the end of the year of the school. And my dad surprised me with the Sega Game Gear. We went to the store, the toy store, and he got me like this, out of the blue, like this thing. I must say I was flabbergasted about the quality. We had like a pretty damn cool display. We didn't have like the mumbo jumbo like with the Game Boy. We always need to have like a separate light. And I must say that I joined some Sonic Gales a lot. I must say that I didn't really own a lot of games back in the day. I think I owned like around like 10 of them or so. But I enjoyed it. Of course the battery, oh man, that was a different story when it comes to the Game Gear. Because this thing was consuming so many freaking batteries. But so much fun to do this quick unboxing with you, to share this experience and just do a quick revisiting of my childhood. Because that is basically what it is. I must give the guy some extra kudos for packing it up so nice. I must say I paid a quite good amount of money for it. Again, like retro is just super expensive nowadays. Doesn't even matter I think where you're living. But it doesn't like spoil the fun. So the box in general is in absolutely like mint condition. And I think this was so much fun to do these, let's say, unboxings. So it says here over here, it comes with a free game called Columns. It's in Dutch, by the way. It says nu met gratis spel. That's basically how you pronounce it in Dutch. The game system, the Sega Game Gear. I don't know if I got this with this box. I think not. I never, let's say, got those boxes as a child very long. Unfortunate, I did throw away a lot of it. Nowadays, I do regret it. It even has a Styrofoam. But I understand it, and the reason I basically picked this one up. I already have like a Game Gear loose, but that one has been like died off again. This time we're going to get ourselves one in very good condition. He didn't completely refurbish, he said, or like completely in the inside with new capacitors. I'm curious how the screen will look. It does have like some minor marks on here, but it doesn't matter. It's still like used. I think I need to clean it up a little bit. Did he like put some batteries in? Oh yeah, there he is. He did put some batteries in. So I'm guessing it will boot up. Okay, pretty damn nice. And let's take a close look at this just to see if it's going to play. Let's see if we're going to get... we did get the free Columns game. I did ask him, like, hey, do you get a free game with it? But he did, like, send me the Columns. That's pretty damn cool of him. Thank you, buddy. He's pretty damn cool. So let's plug in the game and let's have some fun. I will grab some other options nowadays. I do have, like, another Sega Game Gear laying around. And that one looks pretty damn cool. It's a fully modeled one, but I'm going to talk about that later in this video. Oh, that is some pure nostalgia. And we don't need to forget the manual, you know, like, back in the day nobody reads those bloody things. I think still nobody reads these things. But, yeah, now we don't want to have them. Oh, I can still remember, this is like pure nostalgia. I did own back in the day this freaking Game Gear, like, battery. Unfortunately, I don't own it anymore. I died off in the inside, but I wish I still had it. Maybe we can do some revision of it. Oh man, this thing was using so much, like, freaking juice that... You're like, show this tiny picture over here. Alright, so let's play some games and let's get myself some cartridges from the collection and just have some fun today. Oh man, this display, like, it's, if you look at it now, you're more like, oh man, like, we have so many cool, like, ways to play when it comes to Game Gear. Let's see if you can just, like, mess around with it a little bit. Oh, here we go, brightness. Oh, that's much better. The camera picks it up a bit, way better. Columns is a game, I was not like the biggest fan of it, but I must say that I found it quite fun to play. And again, I'm not like a champ in the freaking like puzzle games. But I can really enjoy playing them. It's so much fun. But there is one thing that annoys me a little bit. And the thing is, the problem with these bloody things is that when you're powering on, you will see some problems with the display. You can see it over here. not the screen, the crash that I already mentioned. You can see there is something going on the display. I know maybe a guy who can fix it. There had maybe like a couple of screens in here, but that is just one of those many problems the Sega Game Gears have in 2022 and later on. Maybe you're watching in 2023, doesn't matter, but this thing you need to look out for. Oh man, like this thing needs like freaking 6 AA batteries. And the kind of interesting is like I have never like used these industrial Duracell. Okay, by the way, this video is not sponsored whatsoever, but I just noticed he's using these. He did mix it up with some Vardas, also like a very good battery. Like I still remember when I was a child, I grabbed from a gas station and it was like 2 hours and it was completely drained. That was just like a big problem with these Game Gears. Another thing I found quite interesting, I want to try in the future, you also have this link port you can play together. The thing with the Game Boy, at the top we do get the option to put in a 9-volt power supply, the on-off switch already, the brightness control over here, and there is no like cord that we need to put on the bottom. I think my original one did have it, like if you can just carry it around. So when it comes to this, it's quite an interesting concept. The only thing is like he mentioned that we do have sometimes some problems when it comes to putting in the games. You need to mess with it. With this game it doesn't have any problem whatsoever. No, not at all. Well, and overall when you're looking at the thing, like it's in very good condition. But for me I'm more like wondering like, should he like replace the front glass because of the scratches? Another thing, he also like completely like did a recap of these things, because if you're going to get one without a recap, that is something you should do and take consideration that you need to do, because these things will die off. Also my original one back in the day, I don't know what happened to it, but also that one didn't work anymore. I keep saying that he didn't completely recap. I do trust the seller because I bought a lot from him and he does revisions of all kinds of products. So let's be very like careful with this and let's open it up just to see how did he do his job. The first thing that I noticed, that everything looks super clean in the inside. That's something I also seen with like, you know, like the Chinese, that they basically like doing a certain kind of revision but they don't clean it up. And he did an amazing job. Every part of the PCB is in good condition. So I must say that I'm very pleased what I basically find in here in the inside. And indeed, you can just see here at the top part that he replaced the caps with absolutely great and high quality new ones. So that's great to see. I'm not going to do any, let's say, further teardown because I've seen enough. But this guy did an amazing job, so far I can see. But that makes me wonder, like, are there people out there watching this video and also grew up with the Sega Game Gear? And what games did you play? Mainly I just play a lot of Sonic games because I'm just a big Sonic fan. But when you're looking at the game library, there were so many cool games. Think about a Mortal Kombat or a Street of Rage, for example. So let's crank up the volume. And that was another thing I really enjoyed with the Sega Game Gear. The audio quality was pretty damn good for the tiny mono speaker. Another thing is like playing some Sonic games. I was not always like flabbergasted by it because I grew up with the Mega Drive. I keep like freaking like running into freaking enemies. Another thing I like, very curious, let's play some Sonic the Hedgehog number 2. See if this thing has some issues like the owner said. Oh, that's what I mean, maybe like you need to push it in very hard. Alright, let's turn it on. Oh, that sounds so bad. Another game I personally never played as a child. The question remains, did I miss something out? I think not. But now playing them is pretty damn cool. Collecting for the Sega Game Gear is a lot of fun, but there are also like naughty ways to play. For example, we do have the Flash Game Gear and the Pro Edition. So what you can do basically is like plug in this thing and have a lot of fun. Also, it fits in completely different than original games. Not in a bad way, but let's power it on and I'll show you what you mean. Because with this thing, you can basically play everything if it wants to boot up. Okay, another thing that I personally really like to play is just, if you just want to bring all of your game with you, you can get yourself like a multi-card. They're absolutely crazy expensive. You can just bring yourself like a flash card where you can just load up all of your games. Super easy. Take consideration these, let's say ones from AliExpress, they're not super fast. So if you go to load and start a game, you need to remove it and load it up into the chip. And this can, depending on the size of the game, can take up a couple of, let's say, seconds up to minutes. But here you can see like it runs very fast and loads up really fast when it comes to this. Or it will take forever. I have no idea what I just did. By pressing both buttons, it seems to be activating my power up. That sound. Another awesome way to play is when you're having like a fully modded version. This one has been, let's say, updated with some awesome things. To begin with, we do have like the Type-C upgrade. So this means we can use a 5-volt power supply to give this thing some juice. Of course, it still runs on the original batteries and the case is not original. The same goes for the membranes. Everything has been replaced. Only the main board has been not replaced and it's still original. But what you're going to get with this is so much better when it comes to the quality of the display. It's some new generation sizzle. So I will show you what I mean with this. Alright, so let's boot it up and I will show you what I mean. So this thing looks absolutely crazy when you're looking at the display. The audio quality is improved even then. They were like doing some crazy mod with this. The price range will be like over 200 freaking euros sometime if you're going to look it up. Sometimes you can maybe pick it up like second hand from an other like collector, depending where you're going to buy it. But playing the game like this is absolutely so much better. Another thing I've noticed, like the D-pad plays so much better now, with the completely like revision of membrane buttons. When you're looking at the displays side by side, there we're going to see the biggest difference. Yeah, and I'm just going to be honest, like I picked up this original Game Gear with a recap, but if you're going to look at the quality, of course for the authentic real feeling, this is just the way how you should play. But this is such a big improvement. Of course, this is a fully modded edition that costs almost like the same amount of money or maybe a little bit more. But the real question remains, are you going for the original deal on playing like this, or are you going to just get yourself like a modded version with a beautiful IPS display? For me, I just want to have this nostalgia retro game trip with you guys. That's the reason I did this unboxing, and I must say I'm very happy to add this one to my collection. But unfortunately, the display is in not good condition, and I think this is going to be a general issue. The other one I had without box had the same issues. By the way, like this thing like completely stopped working. So I'm curious how long this display will survive. I think I will not play it a lot. I think it's just more like fun to have in a collection. But beside that, let me know in the comments what you think of the Game Gear and did you own it? And not to forget, like which thing would you buy? Would you like buy one original in box, or would you consider getting one with an IPS display? Would be great to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, consider subscribing, hit that little bell, and it would be great to see you just in the next video.